All right, welcome. So, for those of you guys that missed the in-person presentation, I wanted to record here and just kind of go through the same information for any of you guys that couldn't make it and were hoping to make it, or even if it wasn't something that was interesting, but now it's kind of sparking your interest. You guys will have this, be able to check it out to get that information and ask questions if you guys have questions when it's done there. So, the focus today is on basically nutrition basics. So, we're not going super deep, and it's for health and fitness. So if you have questions on performance nutrition or anything like that, we can obviously go down that route a little bit, but this is just some more general knowledge about being healthy and fueling just an active lifestyle, not necessarily performance athletics there. So a little bit of background on me: been an athlete my whole life. I have a couple brothers and a sister, and we've always been into sports and just basically challenging each other throughout our lives. So started coaching CrossFit in 2012 and nutrition there in 2014. Picked up that as another avenue of coaching people into endurance activities. Along with CrossFit, I've done weightlifting meets as well. So a little bit of everything. A couple half Ironman triathlons last year. A 50-mile ultra trail run was my longest event to date. And love hiking, being active. That's kind of what keeps me moving. It keeps me doing my training, so I can use my fitness outside of the gym for these other fun challenges, or being able to go hike Mount Washington with my wife and dogs on an RV trip that we took. So and best CrossFit Open finish, just because we're right now in the middle of open season, was top 2.5% in the world. To get anywhere in CrossFit, you have to be in the top 1% of the 1%, but that's kind of where I maxed out in 2015. So what matters most when it comes to nutrition? We've got a little diagram here from the good folks over at RP Nutrition. And this is always a good one that I'll use and reference there. So if you have a hard time seeing the picture here, it's searchable on Google. It'll be something that I can post up in the comments if you guys have trouble seeing it. But we're going to start from the base of the pyramid and work our way up. So bottom of the pyramid, calories. This is going to be almost half of the battle with what matters most. There's a lot of controversy on the internet there, but basically it's about as close as we can get to a scientific fact that if we eat less calories than we burn, we will see the scale move. So calories in, calories out. It does depend on our total daily energy expenditure, which we can calculate with our basal metabolic rate. This is the amount of calories that you burn throughout the day, just waking up and doing nothing. Then our the thermic effect of food, which is the energy it takes to digest the food we're eating, our non-exercise activity thermogenesis, so non-exercise stuff, walking around throughout our day, that stuff adds up to a lot. And then exercise activity thermogenesis finishes it out there. So the amount of calories we get from adding in something like going to the gym. And then calories from food, liquids, and alcohol. That's where we can ingest and consume those calories there. So that is going to be a large percentage of what matters if we are trying to move the scale. So keep that in mind, that specifically moving the scale. So next up is going to be macronutrients. So this would be taking those calories and determining how many grams of protein we're ingesting. Fats, carbs, and alcohol has its own role in this as well. And then just basically it's like budgeting our calories. We're going to break them up, maybe eat 40% of our calories in carbohydrates, 30 from protein, 30 from fats. So that would be a very common breakdown that's called zone macros. It's kind of the middle of the road. 50, 20, 30. We can break it up any different way that works for us based on our goals and how we might already like to eat. And it's a common saying that calories determine the number on the scale, but the macronutrients determine our body composition or our body fat percentage. So we could just eat all calories from straight sugar, Pixie Sticks, and we could lose weight. We can definitely do it, but we would feel like crap and our body composition would not be maybe where we want it to be. So it would be better if we could get a healthier breakdown of macronutrients there. So, and the number one that I'll always start people off with when we're coaching is protein. So start with your protein. You can figure out carbs and fat after that. We want about 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body mass You can also use lean body mass if you guys have done an in-body scan at the gym as a number as well to shoot for. So if you weigh 200 pounds, that would be 160 to 200 grams of protein per day. So the next one up is going to be nutrient timing. And this is going to be fueling your workout and activity is a simple way to think about it. So eating a higher percentage of our carbs for the day around our workout. So if we tend to work out in the morning, we're not saving all of our carbs for mid-afternoon or dinner. We try to have some maybe before our workout and then replenish our stores with some afterwards. That's a pretty common way to think about it. Then we've got fasting windows, which there are some health benefits. There's no proven direct benefit that it's superior to fast when it comes to burning more calories or things like that. If it helps you to stick to a certain calorie total, fasting can be great. But if you tend to work out in the morning and then you fast all the way till mid-afternoon, you're probably actually you're hurting yourself as far as performance goes with your nutrient timing. So it would be more optimal to have breakfast and have meals afterwards and then stop your eating window much earlier in the evening if you're a morning workout person and you're doing some intermittent fasting there. So you just need to make sure that your fasting window tends to line up with your training if you have specific training goals and you want to optimize it there. Spreading out your protein is another basic timing piece that we can implement that's not super crazy and that will also help us really see a good benefit. So spreading our protein out, again, fasting will hinder this, but every time we ingest protein, we are filling up our body or our bucket with amino acids. That bucket slowly drains as we utilize those amino acids to perform bodily functions and then also to build or replenish muscle from working out. If that muscle goes dry because we haven't had protein for too long of a duration, we're not going to be rebuilding and replenishing our muscle. So it can be helpful to really spread out our doses of protein throughout the day. And then the last one, just a good little mantra you can think of is earn your carbs. So keep them around your workout and make sure that you're having your highest doses of carbs around training. Next up is going to be food composition. So this would be kind of your food quality is a simple way to think about it. And that's your macronutrient balance, your micronutrient content of the food. So eating 10 shades of fruits and vegetables is one that I will start off a lot of my clients with. So 10 shades, not colors. So that could be 5 different shades of green through spinach, lettuce, cucumber, zucchini, and green grapes. So 5 shades of green is totally fine. But getting a variety of food can help a little bit with satiety. Also, if we eat higher quality foods, a lot of times there's more fiber, we're eating higher protein, we're going to feel full and we're going to feel better in training. And as we just think about working throughout the day and our brain function as well, we're going to feel better versus eating, again, just fast food and pixie sticks and junk food. You can still lose weight. You can still change your body composition eating very poor quality foods, but we're not going to feel great and we probably won't perform as great in our workouts as well. So it is only maybe 10% of the battle as far as that pyramid goes, but it's something that, is going to affect other areas of your life if we completely ignore it. So it's not a huge differential with budging the scale, but it is something that will help us make it easier mentally to stick to our plan. So the very top of the pyramid, supplements and hydration. Specifically supplements, there's a difference between supplements and what I like to call powdered food. So a scoop of protein is not really a supplement. That's a convenient way to get in protein. It's a powdered food. A carb drink like a Gatorade powder is a powdered food. That's convenient for athletes around training. Supplements would be things that claim they give you these improvements in a lot of different areas, whether it's body composition or performance. They really make super, super small changes, 1% to 2%. And if we don't have everything else below it on the pyramid dialed in, these supplements are not really worth the money. If you are very high performing and you care a lot about your training, sure, you can absolutely play with some supplements, see if it helps you feel a little bit better as you do your training. That's all good and well, but it's not where we want to start. It's definitely the end of the road when everything else is dialed in and we're trying to get that last couple percentage points out of our body or our physique or certain changes there. So we don't start with supplements. Powdered food can obviously be convenient and help us out, but it's not the place to begin when it comes to working on our nutrition. And then hydration, even if we're a few percentage points dehydrated, we'll notice a drop off in our performance and our mental clarity. So it can be great to have a little bit of like a Himalayan sea salt in our water in the morning, have an electrolyte drink, try to get a very low or 0 calorie one. Don't be chugging Gatorade as you're sitting at your desk working, and aim for about half your body weight in ounces of water per day. That's a good number to strive for when it comes to water and hydration there. So where do we start now? So let's backtrack one. To the right side of the pyramid, that big grayish black side there says adherence. So all of these things, if we only try them for a day or two, they're not going to work. They're not really going to help us out. Just like any diet, if we only really do it for a couple days and then we drop off and we don't really commit to a diet for at least 3 to 4 weeks to give it time for our body to get used to it, it won't work. Pretty much every diet out there on the internet does work. People always say, oh, I did this diet, it doesn't work. And what they mean is I didn't stick with it, or I did and it didn't work for me. It was too hard, it wasn't sustainable. So finding changes that you think you could stick to for 6 months or longer means that you'll be able to maintain these habits and make these changes and see the rewards that you're working towards there. So keep that in mind, is we want to pick something that is challenging, but once we get used to it, we feel like we could stick with it for 6 months or more. And that usually means you can just stick with it forever. So keep that in mind when it comes to what we're focusing on and working on. So where do we start next? Determine our calories. If you have done an in-body scan at the gym, it'd be very easy for us to calculate the calories. If you would like me to do that, just shoot me an email, sean@hooga.fit, and I can help you determine a place to start off your calories for tracking calories or tracking macros. Then we'll set our protein. So we don't have to track our full macros right out of the gate. So if this is something new, just keeping an eye on your calories and trying to hit your protein is a great start. And then if you want to work on some timing, just think earn your carbs. Keep your higher carb meals close to your workouts and you'll have the timing piece largely figured out. There's plenty more things we can get into with timing. If you are a bodybuilder or an elite athlete, it's a lot more important. But for just general health, we don't need to get too crazy with it. And adherence, like we were just talking about. If you make these changes and do them for 3 days, of course they're not going to do anything. Your body hasn't even had a chance to really do much of anything. We have to be committed to this, stick to it, give it some time. And then think about if it's something that you can do for the next 6 months, because then it's something that we're going to be able to stick to long term and really see the benefits and changes there. So questions, feel free to drop those in the comments below. Message me on Instagram or shoot me an email at sean@hooga.fit. Would love to answer your guys' questions that you might have about nutrition. And then if you guys are interested in nutrition coaching or details about that, same thing, drop me an email here, sean@hooga.fit. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Let me know what you think if you have questions, and I look forward to helping you guys out, answering your questions, and I'll see you guys in the gym sometime soon.